had never heard of Profoundly Normal, but I'm pleased that I've now had a reason to watch it because it's a really enjoyable, very eye-opening and very thought-provoking and also very inspiring film. I love Kirstie, and there were a few of her films that I hadn't seen. This is one of them. This was released in 2003, originally distributed by CBS, and it's directed by Graham Clifford, written by Paris Quails. And it's actually based on a true story, and it's based on the true story of Donna and Ricardo Thornton. And they are individuals with mental handicaps, and the home that they're staying in is closing down. And the residents at this, it's an institution called Forest Haven, and the residents there are kind of redistributed, if you like. Some of them are able to go and live in their own flats if they're high functioning. Some of them have to go into group homes, and obviously Ricardo and Donna get separated, but not for long. And the film is about them realizing their love for each other and the fact that they're kindred spirits, and I was going to say trying to make their way in the real world as a couple, both of whom have mental handicaps to some degree. But actually, there's no trying about it. They give this admirable display of making the world work for them, and particularly surrounding the marriage. And I won't say too much about that, but the actual act of getting married itself was quite a triumph for them for various reasons that the film goes into. And it's just wonderful. And I don't want to patronize them by saying, it's so wonderful to see these people with mental handicaps getting on in the world, because that sounds patronizing, but that is obviously what the film's about. The world, obviously not so much now, but particularly at the time. I'm not entirely sure when this was based. Maybe the 80s? I think it's in the 80s. And obviously even less so than it is now. The world is adaptable and inclusive and accessible, and it's really inspiring to see people against whom the world is set to make things difficult, and yet they say, no, it's not fair, you can't treat us like this, we're going to have it all, we're going to have we're going to get married, we're going to have a family, and we're going to smile while we're doing it. And that's such a wonderful thing, and it's a wonderful display. It is uncomfortable at times. It uses the R word quite a lot. Not as an insult to the people in it, but the people with mental handicaps use the word about themselves, and it is uncomfortable, but it's a good thing that it's uncomfortable, because it says you feel uncomfortable by this language, so stop using it. Talking to society in general, of course, it's not a word that I use. Kirstie performance is incredible. She plays Donna, and her performance is amazing. Really, truly incredible. I also, Delroy Lindo plays Ricardo. Really great performance there as well. But I really want to praise Catherine Finch, who plays Margaret. I don't think I've seen Catherine Fitch in anything else, although I do kind of recognise her, so I'm wondering if I have, and I just can't remember. But her performance as Margaret's definitely not as high functioning as Donna, and she gives quite a really emotive performance, disturbing at times as well, because you can, her emotions are palpable, and her performance was just absolutely outstanding, and really fantastic, and very very engaging. There's also a quote in this that I love, and I don't know if this is a quote, a genuine quote. I don't know how much of the interview clips, because Ricardo and Donna, obviously the actors playing the characters, give fake interviews, and that's kind of the structure of the narrative, which I think works very well. I don't know if what they're saying are direct quotes. If anybody can confirm or deny that, please feel free. But there's this one quote that I love, and it's said, it's from Donna, and it's funny how some dreams you never had can come true. And I love that. And it kind of made me think that Donna, obviously having grown up, having people throwing the R word at her, telling her she can't do things, she didn't dare to dream those things. But actually, particularly when she met Ricardo, or when they got older and kind of realised they were meant to be together, those dreams she never allowed herself to dream began to come true. And it's about telling yourself that even if society says no, your dream isn't impossible. And I think it's such a beautiful message for all of us. I think there are things that we all think are limitations, but when you actually go for it, maybe you can achieve more than you think, and maybe you can dare to dream in ways you didn't think you could. I think it's a beautiful film. It is emotional. It's a difficult watch. It's very difficult some of the time, but it's also very inspiring. It's uplifting. It's emotional. I did, of course, well up at multiple points throughout it. I'm really glad I've seen it. Kirstie Alley was just amazing in it. But even if she hadn't been in it and it had been somebody else in the role of Donna, I still would have really thoroughly enjoyed it. I think Profoundly Normal is something, I don't think it will appeal to everybody, but I think it's something that everybody should try and watch at least once. It is definitely very thought-provoking.